Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to tonight's episode of Youth Empowering the Streets. My name is Hedy Wang.
And my name is Desiree Rios. Tonight's show is dedicated to the power of healthy relationships. With us, we will have from the Fresh Lifelines for Youth program, Gustavo Hernandez and Marianne Van Westbrook, Pastor Abel Rios from the New Harvest Church Christian Fellowship.
With us first, we have Marianne Van Westbrook from Fresh Lifelines for Youth and Gustavo Hernandez, a participant in the program. Welcome to Youth Empowering the Streets.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's start with a few questions for Marianne. Can you share some background information about the FLY program?
Sure. Our mission at FLY is to prevent juvenile crime and incarceration through legal education, leadership training, and one-to-one mentoring. In 1996, our founder and CEO, Krista Gannon, was a Stanford law student teaching law classes to youth in a maximum security facility. Krista really cared about these kids, and she asked them to help design a program that would help support youth who are in similar situations divert from a life of crime and incarceration. Their recommendations are actually the core tenets of our program. And the recommendations were to 1, teach kids about the law, 2, provide them a positive adult role model who more than likely our youth have never had before, and 3, give them the chance to show the community that they are leaders. And in 2001, our program was incorporated, and at that time we had 1 staff member, 5 volunteers, serving 25 youth. And today we have about 45 staff members, around 250 volunteers, serving 2,000 youth in both Santa Clara County and San Mateo County.
And how exactly do you reach out to youth?
So we mainly work with youth who are involved in the juvenile justice system. And we get our referrals directly from the bench or directly from the juvenile probation department. So our youth actually start their journey at FLY through our law program, where they're actually mandated by the probation department to attend classes to learn about the law. And also these classes will help them not only learn about the law, but teach them how to be empathetic and also help them understand what negative behaviors would lead to. And also these law programs will help them utilize what they've learned in their everyday life. So after they graduate from the law program, then our youth can be in a leadership program. And the leadership program, like I said earlier, is that our youth are given the chance to show that they are much more than their past mistakes. So what our youth do are actually, they're given service plans, and they actually give about 2,000 hours of community service to the community. And finally, we have our mentor program. And in our mentor program, our youth are actually volunteering to be part of FLY. And they come to us and they tell us, I've made a few mistakes and what I want is some extra support in my life. And that's where the volunteer mentor comes in. So our youth and our mentors meet for once a week doing whatever fun activity that they want to do, whether it's like eating or going hiking or just hanging out. We also provide fun-free pro-social activities to our youth, like whitewater rafting, zip lining, go-kart racing, and stuff like that.
So what requirements does a youth need to become part of FLY?
So most of our youth are from the ages of 13 to 18, and they are either involved in the juvenile justice system or they are at risk of formally entering into the justice system.
And what effect does your program have on the youth you work with?
So actually 80% of our youth have reported out that they continue to feel inspired by the program, and they continue to learn how to make healthy decisions about their life well past their time in the program. And so again, not only are they learning about the law, but they're learning powerful life skills such as feeling empathy, gaining a better understanding of problem-solving skills, and also just having fun and having a space to be a kid. And the nice part of our mentor program is that the youth are paired with a positive adult role model who will be there for essentially the rest of their life.
Now let's turn over to Gustavo.
So what was your life like before you got involved with the FLY program?
My life, basically, when I was a child, I had a rough life. My mom brought me from Mexico when I was young, so I didn't really have much to start off on. Talk Spanish. As I grew up, I started seeing that a lot of life over here is harder than a lot of us think. I spent a lot of time locked up. That's how I got turned over to Fly, and I decided to take advantage of the program.
And what services does Fly offer, and which of these services have helped you the most?
Services they offer, well, like she mentioned earlier, they offer a law class where you're learning about the law and how we have rights to, as being on the other side of the law. And the mentor program, which I'm in right now, they pair you up with an awesome mentor. They take you different places, My mentor is actually very good, Her name's Veronica. She's actually taught me a lot, in my past. And another program is leadership. I don't really know a lot about leadership.
So how would you say your life has changed now that you are a participant of the Fly program?
My life changed in many ways. I have a different outlook on the way I live now. I actually had a daughter recently, so a lot of the change has been positive. And my mentor helps me a lot when I have questions, whether it has to do with parenting or if I'm having a hard time, just in general life.
Thank you both for sharing.
Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you.
If you'd like to know If you'd like more information about Fresh Lifelines for Youth, aka the Fly program, please visit their website at www.flyprogram.org. We'll take a short break for a public service announcement, and when we come back, we'll speak with Pastor Abel Rios from New Harvest Christian Fellowship Church about the power of healthy relationships.
Don't you just love this new trail? It's so pretty.
Well, yeah, but if only it could stay clean.
What do you mean?
Well, there's already a ton of trash over there.
You know we can do something about this? We can call the anti-litter program and they'll give us all the materials we need to clean this up.
Let's make the call. Thanks for coming. Thanks to the City of San Jose's anti-litter program, we have vests, we have pickup sticks, we have trash bags, and we have gloves. Let's get started.
To volunteer and receive your anti-litter kit, call 408-975-7233. Do your part to keep San Jose bright and clean.
Welcome back to Youth Empowering the Streets. With us now we have Pastor Abel Rios from New Harvest Christian Fellowship Church. Welcome, Pastor.
Thank you.
Now, why do you believe it's important to administer support to youth?
It's important because youth are the future of tomorrow, and they need to be introduced to things that are going to change our community, change their point of view, and help the culture to become more effective, and help young people change things. That's what makes the world better.
So, what support do you offer in your community?
We offer different events. We do mentorship, leadership. We work with, we have a RAIN ministry from ages 13 to 17, which we impart into young people different values, principles about the community, about how to treat their parents, how to work with the community, how to respect authority, because it's so important. Values sometimes are changed, and our objective is to help teenagers and young, especially high-risk kids, realize that they have an opportunity to become more successful and be able to change different situations of life to be more effective.
And what changes do you see in these youth's character?
In their character, they come from the streets first. They're rugged, they're rough in their character, but through mentoring, it develops character in their lives where people can see you with a tattoo, where people can see you and they can see a projection of you, but once you communicate, then they see a difference in your life. It projects a positive output of life for that young person, that people can change them. As a young man, I remember I applied for a job and I had tattoos. I went in with khakis and a white t-shirt, and I gave the gentleman my resume. I was a young adult, and I left it and I took off. He threw it in the trash can, came back, he pulled it out, and he called me. And he says, I judged you by what you look at, and after I seen your resume, I realized that you were in college, that you graduated, that you weren't the person that I saw. So character is really important. They have to, people need to see who they are, not just judge the outer, but character defines the person.
So, how would adults be able to get involved mentoring youth in their own communities?
By getting involved with different community nonprofits that they have, and being able to impart into young people and mentor young people to be able to help them and educate them and impart values. San Jose has a lot of good nonprofit organizations. We have our own through our focus that for our family that we do within our church that does, you know, mentoring for young kids. We have a project called Life Hurts, God Heals, and it's for young women that been abused and gone through different difficulties in lives. We have it for our young kids from 13 to 17 and 18 to 30 that helps mentor these young kids, and then we are able to lead them to other nonprofit organizations that can help them as well.
So what differences have you seen between youth that have healthy relationships with their families and mentors and those that don't?
We see that those that have healthy relationships are more productive. Those that don't have healthy relationships, probably in single homes or step parenting, we realize that a lot of times the parents fight between whose child that is or not, which doesn't help that young child develop who it needs to be. So we teach them in our church. We have a step parenting class to make them biological parents, to realize that the biological parent needs to support the stepmom to make her a biological mom, or vice versa, to help encourage that young man become productive in what they're going to accomplish, to see a healthy relationship, a healthy home, where the child comes home from school and they help them with their homework, they educate them, also developing, see them again. If a child goes and he draws on the wall, doesn't mean you yell at him, but it means he's expressing who he wants to be, a Picasso. Or he draws, he tears down your cabinet for your TV and he makes a nice beautiful table. You know, you let him. That's part of being a good support for that children, to see a healthy family. Show your children love and affection. That's what changes everything. And I believe that healthy relationships come from the parent first, passing it down to the child to help them realize that there is something better. A good mentor is going to look at the young man that's struggling to try to get the best out of him, whether it's drawing, whether it's instrumental, playing an instrument, whether it's rapping, whether it's singing, whatever it may be. A mentor's job is to help that young man come out of his pocket to change. I have a young man that's going to, he has a lot of tattoos on him. He wants to go to the Marine Corps, and so he has to take them off. And I always encourage him. I said, don't get discouraged, because sometimes they get distracted because they feel like, man, it's going to take a long time. But being a good mentor or a role model is always encouraging that young man that it's worth it. It might take you a year, but your life for the next 10, 20 years is going to be all different. So it's working with them to help them realize that having a good home is going to develop good kids, getting them involved in sports and different parts of life.
Well, thanks again for sharing your knowledge, Pastor Rios. For more information about the New Harvest Christian Fellowship Church, please visit their website, www.newharvestsanjose.com. Let's take another short break for a public announcement. When we come back, we will show you an interview we conducted with some school staff.
Welcome back to Youth Empowering the Streets. Tonight's topic is the power of healthy relationships. We will now be showing a brief interview we conducted with some school staff on how their interaction with students helps them succeed in school.
My name is Cesar Herrera. I am the Associate Director here at the Latino College Preparatory Academy. I have been working here for 10 years, 8 as a teacher, and these last 2 as an administrator, specifically the Dean of Students. So I'm in charge of discipline, among other things. One of the reasons why I like working here at the Latino College Preparatory Academy, charter school, a small school, because I feel that if you can make a positive relationship with a student, it can be that difference in their lives. Unfortunately, I feel that when we get students in the 9th grade at around 13, 14 years old, there are anywhere from a handful to quite a few students who have not had a healthy relationship in their past for whatever reason, whether they are they come from a impoverished family, whether it's a volatile situation at home, whether they come from a broken home, they haven't had they haven't had many positive relationships. So to build those positive relationships, those strong, healthy, positive relationships with students here, and show them that how successful they can be when they're part of a community, is really satisfying to me. And I've been able to see a lot of youth change their lives. It could be in a subtle way, it could be in a dramatic way, but I've seen a lot of students change their lives just because they have somebody that they can count on, they can rely on, that will be there. Not necessarily the best friend. I don't think as educators we need to be the students' best friends. Of course, we need to listen to them. We need to get to know them, understand them, but also have high expectations for them and have structure their lives. Make them understand that there's expectations, rules, norms that they need to follow, and be consistent. I think a lot of students in the past, in their past, and as they grow up as small children and then going into adolescence, they don't have that consistency. They don't have that routine. So coming here and setting those expectations, setting up those routines, I think are key, and can turn a student's lives around. One that we just started this year is Joven Noble, which I think has been very instrumental in changing the lives of young males, opening their eyes to what to their possibilities, really, if they just take the time to think through their decisions, if they understand the consequences of their actions, if they understand how to create healthy relationships rather than negative relationships. So Joven Noble, I think, has been very instrumental. Of course, as I always like to remind my teachers, we are trying to change students' behaviors that have been learned over 13, 14 years. So we have to be patient with students. I mean, nothing's going to change overnight. We need to be patient and understand that they're going through a process, they're going through adolescence, and we need to be there for them. We need to be the stability in their lives. But Joven Noble has done that. We've also partnered with the Girl Scouts this year to work with our female students in the same capacity that Joven Noble is working with our male students. Other than that, engage them. We have an enrichment period here at LCPA, so that's where Joven Noble and the Girl Scouts came in, but we also feel that, and I'm not saying that Joven Noble and the Girl Scouts are lecturing to our students, but it's more passing on information. I also believe that in order to create a positive change in students' lives, you need to engage them. We brought in, it was called Operation Hope, to work with our students, giving them financial literacy classes, entrepreneurship classes, and that really engaged them, and got students to see that that if they work hard, if they put themselves into something, that that they'll have success. For example, in the entrepreneurship class, 2 teams of students won a grant from that organization, a $500 grant, because they put a business plan together, and they worked with their partners, and wrote a detailed business plan of that, and said how they were going to continue with that. Actually, one of the students, even after me hearing his presentation, one of the students ended up doing some work for me. His business was to follow his father's business. He wants to do a landscape. He wants to start a landscaping business, and I was so impressed with his business plan and how much he knew about it that I hired him to over the spring break to work on my house, which I've been working on for the last few years. And I also thought that was a great way to connect with the student and say, you know what, I don't just believe in you on paper. I actually believe in you to do this. And so he's really excited about starting a business and furthering his education because of this program, the entrepreneurship class that he took. And I have students from Joven Nobler, from the Girl Scouts, coming up to me and saying, you know, this was beneficial. I still have to work on my behavior in class, but I understand what it is that I'm doing now, and I'm trying to make better choices. I'm trying to be reflective of what of my actions, and I'm trying to be considerate of others and take others into account when I do what I do. So I get that quite a bit in the position that I'm in. So as the dean of students, I often have to speak to students who are not following the rules, who are being defiant or disrespectful, and I believe that this is a great opportunity to not only ask the student to comply with the rules of the school, but also to be an example of what or of how people communicate in a healthy relationship. So even when a student is being defiant and disrespectful towards me, I do my best to stay calm, to be patient, and to not escalate the situation. I think a lot of students, a lot of the youth that I work with here at LCPA are used to that, either at home or from previous schools. They feel that their parents are always on their case, that their teachers are always against them, that they're enemies. And I want to remind them that we are here to support them, we're here to help them, and the reason we have these expectations and these norms is because they need to learn this in order to function well in their adult lives after they leave high school. So I feel that that's just a wonderful a wonderful opportunity to demonstrate what good communication is. So even if a student is you know, you have to have thick skin as a teacher, as an administrator. Even if a student is using curse words at you, even if they're just being outright defiant and not listening to you, you use affect statements. You know, what you're doing right now is it really concerns me, and try not to make it personal. It concerns me because I'm worried about how this is going to affect you. I'm not worried because of the way that I'm feeling. I'm worried that if you continue to do this, you're going to continue to have negative relationships with people. You're going to continue butting heads with people, and I want you to I want you to work out your problems in a better way, in a healthier way. I usually get positive results from approaching students like that. It takes a while. Sometimes what should be a 2-minute conversation can turn into a 30-minute conversation. But by the end of the conversation, I feel that the student really understands where I'm coming from and why I'm asking them to do what I do, and I can get them back into the classroom. Whereas if I take a different approach and I keep on if I keep on demonstrating the things that they see in their unhealthy relationships, I might just send them home, or I might just suspend them or put them in detention. But what does that really do? That takes them out of the place where they're supposed to be and getting their education. It takes them out of the safe place here at school and puts them back in a situation that might not be as safe. So I'm thinking, my thought process is, I deal with the situation, I explain to them what's going on, hopefully they understand, they can reflect, and even if it takes 30 minutes, an hour to have a conversation with one student, at least at the end of that time they can be back in the classroom and it's resolved. They don't have to carry that weight on their shoulder anymore that I did something wrong, that I'm a bad kid. No, they understand their role in the community, and they understand how their behavior affects others, and so hopefully they see past that, and then they rejoin the classroom and are effective there. So I just think that's always an opportunity to demonstrate what healthy communication and what a healthy relationship looks like. My advice to a student in that situation would be to not give up on their school, to seek out somebody at their school, whether it's a teacher, whether it's an administrator, whoever it is, whether somebody they can associate with, whether it's the janitor, whether it's a bus driver, whether it's the campus security, whether whoever it is, but nobody can do it alone. Everybody needs help, and everybody needs somebody to talk to. And you're not always going to establish a good relationship with all your teachers or with even your classmates, but seek out those people that you can trust, that might be going through might have similar experiences as you, or had a similar experience in the past, if it's an adult, if it's a teacher, and work at those relationships. Try not to push people away. Like I've said in the past, at school, the main reason why teachers chose their profession, administrators chose their profession, is to help and support students. I have to remind students on a daily basis that we're not their enemies. I'm not here to play that I got you game. I don't want to get you in trouble. I don't want people to be in detention, or I don't want to suspend kids. I want them to learn. I want them to understand how to work in a community, and not only care for themselves, but care for the people around them. And at the end of the day, they're in a community. They're in a group of people, and they need to understand how to work together, how to live together.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of Youth Empowering the Streets.
Don't forget to visit us on Facebook at facebook.com/youthempoweringthestreets. And to view more episodes, log on to CreaTV SJ.org and search for Youth Empowering the Streets.
See you next time.